Welcome to my Scrum Masters Elite _UK. Let's analyze rugby and explore in-depth strategies. Click subscribe to follow and don't miss out.
I feel that, based on what has happened with the New Zealand national rugby team, we are witnessing a crucial and challenging turning point not just for New Zealand Rugby Union, but also for the country's rugby as a whole. From the firing of the head coach to the vacant leadership positions, this chaos highlights a series of issues that many major sports organizations face when undergoing leadership changes, especially in the context of fierce competition and high expectations from fans. Although I'm not directly involved, I personally feel a sense of regret regarding the current situation of the All Blacks, a team that has built its reputation through impressive achievements over many decades. When Mark Robinson resigned, I saw it as a sign of instability in the leadership of the union. His departure was not easy, as it wasn't simply about an executive leaving his post, but it created a domino effect that affected the entire organization. This became even more evident as New Zealand Rugby Union has still not appointed a successor, despite Robinson's departure being known for months. This raises questions about the union's ability to anticipate and prepare for maintaining stability within the team, which is a critical factor for any sports organization, especially a national team with a strong brand like the All Blacks. Chairman David Kirk, who was appointed in December 2024, seems to be facing an incredibly difficult task as he leads the review of the All Blacks' unsuccessful 2025 season. The feedback from players and the disappointing results are undoubtedly a heavy burden on Kirk, and the firing of Robertson was likely a decision he didn't want to make, but one that was necessary to chart a new direction for the team. However, this decision has made the situation even more difficult, as the union has yet to find a suitable replacement for the head coach position, while other key leadership roles, such as CFO and commercial director, remain vacant. This is undoubtedly a tough situation, not just for the union, but also for fans, who have always had high hopes for the stability and progress of the national team. This situation not only worries me about the future of the All Blacks, but also makes me think about the pressures large sports organizations face in maintaining performance and building a strong foundation for future generations. I can't help but feel regretful about the sudden changes in a team that was once the pride of New Zealand, with a long history and a proud tradition. This is even more saddening when looking at their competitors, particularly Australia, who might be smiling in the face of the All Blacks' turmoil. In fact, it is undeniable that Rugby Australia has also gone through similar tough times, and the comments from Campisi, the former Australian rugby legend, carry a hint of sarcasm, especially when he talks about the New Zealand Rugby Union continuing to send New Zealand coaches to Australia. Campisi didn't hide his displeasure with the presence of New Zealand coaches in the Wallabies team. Even though in the past, 2 out of the last 3 head coaches of the Wallabies were from New Zealand. This creates an interesting paradox in the international rugby scene, where New Zealand coaches not only influence their own teams, but also play significant roles in guiding their competitors. However, part of me also feels sympathy for what is happening in New Zealand. Campisi may be mocking, but I think he also understands the difficulties large sports organizations face during times of transition. A crisis for a major team like the All Blacks is unavoidable, and perhaps this is the moment when they need to rediscover their identity and stability in a challenging phase. The question remains whether New Zealand Rugby Union can find a new head coach who can lead the team back to the top while restoring the fans' confidence. I also empathize with Campisi's decision to remain silent about Rugby Australia's move to recruit Les Kiss, the head coach of Liverpool. Perhaps his silence was a wise decision, given that he had previously faced a lot of criticism and controversy over his remarks. After all, in the current context, remaining silent might be the best way to avoid unnecessary tension and gossip. I understand that in the world of sports, sometimes speaking out can have unintended consequences, and for someone like Campisi, who has faced many controversies, staying quiet might have been the most prudent choice. Personally, I feel a deep sense of regret about what is happening with the New Zealand rugby team. A team that once made history and built a strong brand is now facing many significant challenges. However, I also hope that the New Zealand Rugby Union will quickly find a solution to overcome this crisis and lead the All Blacks back to the path of glory. This sport along with the national team of New Zealand, deserves a stable and prosperous future.
Thank you for following my Scrum Masters Elite_UK. I hope you enjoyed today's rugby analysis. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to watch the latest videos.